What's good, YouTubers and YouTubettes? This is JBsports back again with another one. Jamel lines on the Charlo, the most underrated fighter in boxing today. Make no mistake about it, he was able to become the 7th fighter to become undisputed in the 4-belt era, as he laid claim as a top pound-for-pound fighter. ESPN.com and all you other guys that do these pound-for-pound rankings, I expect you guys to have him at the very minimum in your top 10 pound-for-pound rankings when you update him. Make no mistake about it, you got to do what's right and quit playing politics just because you don't like his attitude and you don't like the way he moves and how he's so brash and he's self-confident. You want him to be a little bit more humble, like a Triple G or a Vasily Lomachenko. Those guys are very humble. You love to praise those guys, but a guy that's outspoken and believe in himself and believe in his skills, you hate on him. You need to cut that shit out and give him props. Make no mistake about it. His team, led by trainer Derrick James, made great adjustments from round 1 through round 12, from fight 1 to fight 2. Make no mistake about it. They left the jab at home in the first fight. They brought the jab to the ring in the second fight, and they played dividends as they was able to make Brian Castano, who in my opinion, despite this loss last night, is number 2 junior middleweight in the world. But he was able to make Brian Castano reset. He was able to control distance at a better rate than he did in the first fight. For the most part, he was able to stay off the ropes. He was able to stick and move. He was able to showcase the skills that he had early on in his career before he actually got with Derrick James. Derrick James brought the power game to him once he linked up with him, but he was able to implement what he learned on the Ronnie Shields and implement what he learned under Derrick James. So he was a boxer puncher instead of just a guy that's looking for that one-hitter quitter, a la Deontay Wilder. Great performance, great win. Brian Castano, his style of fighting is good if you're fighting a guy that doesn't possess the power of a Jamel Charlo. He's a guy that's going to bring pressure. He's looking to close the distance, but he don't have the power advantage over a Jamel Charlo. So when you're fighting that style and you're the shorter guy, you have the shorter reach, you got to try to get inside. You got to try to go to the body. You got to try to break your fighter down. You got to try to invest in the body, and hopefully you'll slow him down in the later rounds and ultimately overwhelm him with your volume of punching. But the problem with that style of fighting is you don't have the power that the guy that you're trying to break down, the guy that you're trying to walk down, that's going to cause a big problem. So you got to give Brian Castano a lot of credit, man. This guy here is, if you had to give an award for the fighter that's got the most out of his ability, Brian Castano's got to be at the top of the list. This guy has, you know the old friend squeezing blood out of turnip. This guy has squeezed blood out of turnip. When you talk about getting the most out of his skill set, Brian Castano has got the most out of his skill set. For him to become a world champion in the junior middleweight division, for him to, in my opinion, he actually won the first fight. In my opinion, in the second fight, he did get defeat. He did lose that fight, got stopped. But I thought the fight was very competitive. I had the fight. I think going into that 10th round, I had it 5-4 Charlo. You know, some people had it a little bit wilder than that. I saw the judges' scorecards before the stoppage. They had him up 7 points and 5 points and stuff like that. I think one judge might have had him up a little bit more than what I had him up too, the third judge. But they had it very convincingly in the favor of a Jamel Charlo. I didn't see it that way. I thought the fight was very competitive. I thought Brian Castano did a good job of catching him with them straight left hands. But the problem again with it is he just don't have the power. It's just, you know, when you're a pressure fighter, you got to have the power advantage. You know, that's why you're trying to get close. That's why you're trying to close distance, because you trying to fight a guy that's on his bicycle, trying to move. He's trying to stick and move. He don't really have the power you have. He don't have the I ain't gonna say he don't have the tenaciousness of you got, but his style of fighting is, because when you a guy that wants to move and stick and move and stuff like that, yeah, you can do that and make it an easier fight, but you're gonna be a fighter that's not gonna sell a lot of tickets. Just look at Boo Boo Andrade. Look at guys like that, man. You know, you got to kind of be a guy that's be aggressive. Sugar Ray Leonard was a guy that could have been a pure boxer and won a lot of his fights. He won the majority of his fights anyway, but he could have chose that style. But he chose to be more of a crowd-pleasing fighter. So he was an aggressive type of fighter, trying to close the distance. And he was a guy that was looking to set you up with big shots to get you up out of there. And that's the dilemma, again, that Brian Castano possessed, man. You get in there with a guy that's got more power than you is, and you trying to walk him down, and you trying to put pressure on him, you trying to get close, you're setting yourself up to get knocked out. You almost got to fight a perfect fight, man. And the problem was the accumulation of shots he took last night ultimately caused him to get stopped in the 10th round. Got caught with a beautiful left hand through the high guard. It was a delayed reaction, and he went down, got back up, but he was in bad shape. And Jermell Charlo went in and closed the show, man. Just a great performance by Jermell Charlo. Now, what's next for Jermell Charlo? Who do you think he should take on next? I think his next fight likely will be against Tim Tszyu. Tim Tszyu has been been the mandatory in the WBO for the last 2 years, so he has first dibs. I think that'll be the next fight. They could put that fight anywhere, actually. They could put that fight in Vegas, LA. You know, they could put that fight. That fight is a West Coast fight. Make no mistake, a fight. In my opinion, I think it's a West. Oh, they probably could put it on the East Coast too. They can put that at the Barclays Center. Tim Tszyu is gonna, just like Brian Castano, bring in a fan base. Brian Castano was able to bring in the Argentinian fan base, and I believe that what's the name? I believe that Tim Tszyu will be able to bring in the Australian fan base, and I think that'll make for a great atmosphere when those two fighters collide. Let me know your thoughts about this particular matchup. Let me know your thoughts about Jermell Charlo taking on Tim Tszyu. I think the next guy in line would be Sebastian Fundora. That could be a big-time matchup as he's #1 in the WBC. But again, Tim Tszyu, I think it will be the likely next matchup. Let me know your thoughts about Jermell Charlo stopping Brian Castano in the 10th round via TKO. I don't know what was the official stoppage. Was it a TKO or a KO? Because he knocked him out. He got up, and the referee stopped it as he fell onto the ropes. He was on shaky legs. He was on Queer Street, as they say back in the day. And he was in no condition to continue. So I think that officially is a TKO. But TKO, KO, he got stopped in the 10th round by one of the hardest hitters in boxing. He got a PhD in one-hitter quitter, as he can catch you with one shot and put your lights out. He was able to do that. He's a guy that power carries from round 1 to round 12. He's been saying that, you know, here recently going into this fight and going into the Tony Harrison fight, that his power carries, and he gets stronger actually as the fight goes on. And he proved to be a prophet as he's able to stop him with a vicious left hand in the 10th round. Let me know your thoughts about what Jermell Charlo should do. Let me know your thoughts about what Brian Castano could do. I think he's got a lot of good fights in the junior middleweight division. I would like to see him fight Tony Harrison. That'd be a good fight. He could take on a Sebastian Fundora. That'd be a good fight. 6'6" guy going against a guy that's 5'7", looking to get inside and looking to put pressure. That would be a good fan-friendly fight. So he's got a lot of good options himself, as he showed himself well, even though he was able to not become undisputed at 154 pounds. Let me know your thoughts. Follow me on Facebook, JGerardBriscoe.5751. Follow me on Twitter, JBsports3303. Like, share, and subscribe to JB Sports. The man, the myth, the legend. And I holla.